call is now being recorded.
Yes, ma'am. We shall start, ma'am.
Yes. A very good morning to all. Myself, Dr. Amsaveni, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Biotechnology, Konganad Arts and Science College. On behalf of Women Empowerment Cell of Konganad Arts and Science College, I feel happy to welcome you all for the second day session of this 3-day international webinar, YUCTA 2020. With the blessings of our respected President, Dr. M. Archami sir, and our dynamic Secretary and Director, Dr. C. A. Vasagi ma'am, I feel happy to welcome our today's resource person and the most eminent speaker, Dr. Kamalaveni ma'am, who is here to share her views on the topic Role of Women in COVID-19 Pandemic Crisis. I welcome you, ma'am. I welcome our ever supporting women, Dr. webinar. With this note, I take this opportunity to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Kamalaveni ma'am. Dr. Kamalaveni ma'am is currently working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Women's Studies, Bardiyar University, Coimbatore. She did his BSc Biotechnology at Bardiyar University, MSc Psychology at Madras University, MPhil Psychology at Annamalai University, PhD in Women's Studies at Bardiyar University, and MA Women's Studies at Mother Teresa University, Kodaikanal. Her awards include Young Women Educator and Scholar Award for invaluable contribution to teaching and scholarly activities by NFED during 2015. And she has received Young Scientist Award in Women's Studies for valuable contribution to scholarly activities in the year 2015 by Venus International, Chennai. She also received Distinguished Women Scholar and Educator Award for invaluable contribution in serving as resource person on the topic Reproductive Health Awareness by National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development 2016. She also received Best Young Faculty Award for rendering teaching service by Gratz Educational Trust during 2018. She has developed e-content for the module entitled Girl Child in Society, sponsored by UGC and MHRD. She has organized various funded conference and training programs. She also acted as a resource person at various programs, and she has published papers in international and national proceedings and journals. During 2016, she was a principal investigator for the project entitled Gender Audit of Bardiyar University, sponsored by Bardiyar University. And during 2016 to 19, she was a principal co-investigator for a project funded by Natural Resource Data Management System. And during 2019 to 20, she is the principal investigator of the project entitled Implementation of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, funded by National Commission for Women, of worth rupees 4.47 lakhs. And one more project during 2019 to 20, she is the principal investigator, and the project entitled Women's Contribution to Farm-Based Economies and Their Access to Land Rights, a study in Tamil Nadu, funded by Ministry of Women and Child Development, of worth rupees 22.12 lakhs. With this brief introduction, may I now invite Dr. Kamalaveni ma'am to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful introduction, ma'am. I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Sumati ma'am and Secretary ma'am Vasagi ma'am for providing me this wonderful opportunity to participate in this webinar. So, of course, it is a new experience for me too. And though we have handled many classes, in previous sections, handling a webinar on a video is new to us, and it's also a little, keeping tense as a resource person. But still, I would like to share a few of my experiences and the work that I have done with regard to women issues. And especially, I would concentrate on the women issues that is going on in this pandemic crisis. So before going into why we talk about women and why we need to concentrate on women issues, I would like to give a brief note on what is the difference between, why do we concentrate on women, and what is the difference between sex and genders, the terminologies that we use in day-to-day life. So we'll start with the PPT presentation for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So we'll keep the session lively and interactive, and students and staff members can do interact with me in between if you all have doubts. And in the final session also we'll have a lot of question sessions where, because always when we talk about the social issues, it's not about an individual person talking monotonously. Instead, it's like, you know, we keep interacting with each other and we share our knowledge with each other, so that we'll have a focus on, we'll know what to work on and where are we going. All these issues can be addressed in this. And when we talk about role of women in COVID-19 pandemic issues, there are a lot of issues right from the grassroots level to the political level to talk about. And women as a human resource or women as a workforce, there are a lot of issues to be discussed about. So before entering into the main topic, we'll just see why we concentrate especially on women issues and especially on women in the role. So first I would talk about the difference between gender and sex. So I'll share the screen with you all. So there are differences between the terminologies that we use, which is the sex and gender. So sex is a biological term and gender is a sociological term. So sex is a biological term which cannot be changed. But because of the advent of technologies, recent days, the sex is a bit changeable, but still the sex cannot be changed is a concrete definition. But gender keeps on changing. So gender is a socially constructed term. And throughout the history and culture, sex differences exist as the same thing. Like if a man and a woman is there, in all the culture, we have the same biological aspect. But when we talk about the gender, there are difference in the culture to culture, state to state. In every country, we have different roles played by an individual. That is, the role played by a male or a role played by a female differs from society to society, from country to country, from state to state. We can feel, and we can see that even in a small village, we can see that a village to village will have differences in the role played by the man and women. Maybe the general roles will be similar, but most of the roles will differ in all types. So policies that respond to sex differences in the areas do have do with the physical body, but policies can respond to the stereotype and traditional gender roles. So traditional gender roles do have policy implications, so that we'll see in the later stages. Now I'll go to the next slide. Why women need to be focused. So some facts and figures that are shared by UN Women is discussed with you here. Globally, 750 million women and girls were married before the age of 18. And at least 200 million women and girls in 30 countries have undergone FMG. So FMG is nothing but female genital mutilation, which is again a violence against women. For example, in India, we would take it as a dowry system or the child marriage issues, this kind of issues. So this is a global issue which we talk about female genital mutilation. So female genital mutilation is mostly prominent in African countries, as the Asian countries have dowry system and sati system, etc. In 18 countries, husbands can legally prevent their wives from working in 39 In 39 countries, daughters and sons do have equal inheritance rights, and 49 countries lack laws protecting women from domestic violence. So the domestic violence is a prominent area that I would be discussing in the later cases. Now I'll just present the statistical views and then I'll be talking about the domestic violence. So 1 in 5 women and girls, including 19% of women and girls aged 15 to 49, have experienced physical and sexual violence, which is an done by the innate partner with at least 12 months. Yet 49 countries have no laws that specifically protect women from such violence. Yes, of course, India have an act called as Domestic Violence Act 2005. So after this act, there are a lot of cases filed, and even then, even though the cases are filed, the result of the cases are yet to be discussed a lot. So while women have made more important inroads into political offices across the world, their representation in national parliaments is only 23.7%, which is still far away from parity. Only 52% of women married and in union free make their own decisions about sexual relationships, contraceptive uses, and healthcare. Globally, women are just 13% of agricultural landholders, which again will be substantiated by my research experience. One of the research which I'm carrying out recently, the women's contribution to farm-based economies. The access to land rights for women is in the law, but in practice it is very, very less. More than 100 countries have taken action on track budget allocation for gender equality. Women in North Africa hold less than 1 in 5 paid jobs in non-agriculture sector. The proportion of women in paid employment outside agriculture sector has increased from 35% in 1990 to 41% in 2015. In 46 countries, women now hold more than 30% of the seats in national parliaments in at least one chamber. In Southern Asia, a girl's risk of marrying in childhood has dropped by over 40% since 2000. The rates of the girls between 15 to 19 who are subjected to female genital mutilation in the 30 countries where the practice is concentrated have dropped from 1 in 2 girls in 2000 to 1 in 3 girls in 2017. So the drop rate, if you see, is very, very less. But then even the practices are course and outcome of some infection. So there are நான் கால் பண்ண வேண்டாம்னு சொல்லுமா விஜி கால் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Very sorry. Very sorry.
No problem, ma'am. No problem.
Okay. Since I'm handling the class in mobile, I had a call in between. Sorry, ma'am.
No problem, ma'am.
Okay. So though there are differences in gender and sex, I would like to discuss about the differences that is prevalent because of this pandemic infections. So
excuse me, ma'am. I think the PPT is not visible.
Not visible. Once again. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, make it as full screen, ma'am.
One second. Is it full screen now?
No, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. You can continue.
That's okay, no?
No problem.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So we were talking about the gender related differences that is the patterns that is exposed. Okay. So, okay, there are patterns and the differences between the gender and sex. But I was earlier talking about the difference between the gender and sex. So, sex is a biological term. I'll start from the beginning. So, sex is a biological term, and the gender is a sociological term. So, gender has a lot of impact on women. Why we talk about gender is gender has a lot of impact on women. So, when we talk about the difference in the gender and sex, transmission, of course, is biological. When we talk about the infectious diseases, especially when we talk about Ebola, when we talk about SARS, and now the COVID-19. So infection may vary biologically between men and women, but the gender roles that we perform has got impact on the infections also. So, for example, the role played by men and women has got impact on this kind of diseases when it is infectious. So, for example, the implications of sex and gender for the surveillance of and response to the outbreaks is especially the disease that are not sexually transmitted, like now what we are facing, the COVID-19 infection, has got the impact of the gender. So how does it have an impact on the gender? For instance, women stay long back at home and they carry out all the activities, and women go out to work uh, the other activities. When they go out, they are more prone to the disease, and when they get back to the home, they are also becoming a carrier to spread the infection. This is one point. So this, especially when this research studies were dealt with the SARS and Ebola. So during that time, if you see the SARS and Ebola, men went to the forest areas and they contacted the disease. And when they came back, the infection was from animal to men and then men to men contact. When we talk about the COVID-19, it is not so. So it started spreading from the lab to man, then men to men. The contagious disease has been increased. So all this is one part of the discussions that we are having. What is the role of women in the pandemic? So how are women facing this pandemic? These are the main concepts that we are trying to talk about. So who spends more time at home? Women spends more time at home. So what is the impact on women when we talk about this kind of infections? One main important thing is that the economic crisis. The economic crisis, in the sense, the earnings of the family has been reduced because of this pandemic infection. So what does this have impact on women? When the economic condition is reduced, naturally the violence against women increases. That is what is WHO and UN have been creating awareness. And even if you see in these recent days, the media is creating a lot of awareness, to protect women and to support women. So how actually, if you truly speaking, the lockdown period is more, extracting work from women, because the family members retain at home. So the women does a lot of work, and all those work goes unrecognized most of the time. So how do we help women to cope up with this kind of issues? Or how do we help the women to come out of this kind of problem? That is what is the main aspect that we have to think of, and we have to help women to come out of this. So the time spent at home, we can say that it is very easy, time spent at home, but the time spent at home is more extracting work from a woman. So when we talk about the overall role of a woman within the household acquires a lot of time, and it takes her majority of the time, where she do not have more time to concentrate on her health or to concentrate on herself. So here we need to give support for women to a greater extent. Responsibility, when we talk about the agriculture sector, responsibility for carrying livestock, then how is the healthcare received, scientific knowledge and treatment, all these aspects we need to talk about. So in spite of that, we are into the 20th century, women have entered into workforce. Nearly 20 to 30% of women have entered into a workforce. What do we mean by a workforce? First, I would say that we call two concepts. One concept is the paid labor, the other concept is the unpaid labor. So unpaid labor that is carried out within the four walls of the home, which we call as a house, requires a lot of time. So women's majority of the time goes in the unpaid work. So when she comes out of the home to work, which is in paid work, that paid work also requires a lot of energy for a woman. But again, then women plays a dual role without the support from the counterpart. If at all woman gets the support from the counterpart, it is very, very good and it is appreciative. And overall, the economic performance of the country will definitely increase when women get support. So Even though we are in the 20th century and women have entered into the workforce, we have shift systems, which again, women spends a lot of time in the home and out of home. For this, the best example will be the health workers. Now, if you see in this pandemic condition, 70% of the health workers are women. And that especially when you see in the hospital sectors, the health sector especially, now the nurses and the doctors who are majority are women. So women play a major role in this pandemic condition to recover the COVID-19 patients or to take care of the family. All these roles played by women are very, very significant and should be taken into the account. So the majority of the household work is done by the women, and the after that, when they come out of the home, they do a lot of activities. So economic stress on families due to the outbreak can put children and in girls in particular at a greater risk. Especially it will lead to the exploitation, child labor, gender-based violence, etc. So this lockdown period, when the economic condition goes down, or economic condition of a family goes down, the pressure is on women. So the women's role need to be focused, and women's role need to be concentrated, especially as a human resource. At the individual level, if you see the choices, you can see what pandemic patients need. They need to take care of, or they need to be looked after. They need to be given enough care to come out of this disease. What do self-isolating older people need? Looking after. So all the old age people need care. So that also requires a lot of time, and caring is again the sole responsibility of women. What do children kept home from school need? So the children are also again back from school, and during this lockdown period or during this pandemic condition, most of the time, all the family members retain back at home. So what do all these people need? They all need a simple term called as looking after. So this looking after is a very, very big role which we have to discuss a lot. All this looking after is an unpaid labor. So when we talk about the unpaid labor, this is a heavily work that lays on a woman because of the existing structure of the workforce and social structure. And it's not only because of the workforce and the social structure, the cultural influences that also has an impact on it. So everybody expects, or the cultural role or the societal structure expects a woman to perform all these duties. So when women alone perform these duties, who will take care of women? That is a major issue we need to address on. That is why we have taken this important concept as role of women in pandemic conditions. So all the news medias, all the coverages that is speaking about, talks about the pandemic and the lockdown conditions, and also the violence against women. Here and there it is addressed, but still, where does the change start from? It starts from the individual level. The family members within the family, that is, the family is the basic unit of society, and the members in the family need to concentrate on women and their role, and they need to give more emphasis on how to support a woman, how to take part in the household activities. Household activities, of course, is an unpaid work. As I was discussing earlier, the looking after jobs or the taking care jobs requires a lot of energy and time. So do we really concentrate on this taking care jobs, or do we really support our mothers and sisters or the people around us who are doing 24/7 the jobs, which is an unpaid job? So this unpaid job need to be supported by the family members. Instead of saying supported, they need to take part in this, and they need to look upon these jobs as a skilled job, or it has to be a important job that has to be taken part with each other. So the why people don't take part is a major issue, because it's an unpaid work, and it is a flexible work. Whoever wants can do that. So that is why people are not interested in taking part at, and the major influence is the cultural influence, that the household activity is always considered to be a woman's job, and the paid job outside home is considered to be a male job. So that is why people don't take part in those kind of jobs. But when people take part in those kind of jobs, yes, of course, we can help women a lot, and women can also take part in the workforce outside home. So when we talk about role of women, why do we talk about a private sphere or the family, the role of the work that is done in a family? this is a major important thing that we have to discuss. That is because the experience that women has in the family sphere or the private sphere is definitely taken to the next level, or is definitely taken to the next part of the society. How this point can be substantiated is, look at the female leaderships in the political part. So this has some connectivity between the private sphere and the political participation across the globes. All the most countries that have done well in the COVID-19 responses, like Germany, Finland, Denmark, New Zealand, Belgium, Iceland, had one thing in common. That is the only one thing in common, that is female leadership. What did these female leaders do during this COVID-19? It was like they have preconceived ideas, or they have foreseen the consequences of this pandemic. How did this arise? If you see this female leadership in common, that is the simple concept is that they have a common ideology, or the role as specific to women, or the mental attitude of a woman. So they had that empathy to foresee the issue, and they had that resilience to look into the issue with, and they had that empathy to look into the issue. So all this collectively helped them to take good decisions, which again protected the country to protect from the pandemic infections. So role of women in this pandemic is in, is scattered in different forms. So if you see a role of women in family, it's a significant thing. If you see a role of family in the health sector, of course, 70% of the health workers are women. Role of women in political conditions, if you see, they made a good decisions to protect the citizens of the country from this pandemic conditions. So all this is interconnected. That is the only the connection is that they have that female attitude, or they have that the female connectivity with the nature, the female perception of looking into the society. So that is what is a major thing I wanted to discuss. And so what is the country expecting in the next? What does the country need in the next? The country needs the next very important thing is the resilience, the courage kind of leadership, the flexibility kind of leadership, the ability to listen to the citizens of the country, and the empathy to look into the issues, and the collaboration, caring, recognition of collective contribution. So when we see this caring and recognition of collective contribution, so when there is a collective contribution, definitely participation of everyone's intelligence will become a key to the success. So the major traditional characteristics of feminine management lies with this. So all these leaderships will definitely, leadership qualities will definitely help one's country or one state or one's own country to come up in a greater extent. So during this pandemic condition, we need to look into all women's role, examine the women's role, and we need to support women's role wherever possible. And we need to encourage women to come up in all the aspects wherever possible. So I think this will start from family as a basic unit, then it will elevate to the society, then again the society to the leadership. So these kind of roles need to be researched in each area. If you look into the WHO or UN statistics, so yesterday when I was reading through all the articles, you can see the commonality, that is the differences between gender and sex, the roles played by gender, the roles played by the woman is a major significant area. So recent days, women's participation after this lockdown, might be we'll see this issue, women's participation in the public sphere is getting reduced. Why is it getting reduced? If you see, there are a lot of issues. Women don't get encouragement from the societal side or the family side. Though women have started coming out, only few women are able to cope up with that, and few women are able to play the dual role successfully. Most of the time, women are challenged to do such kind of activities. So there is a need to support women in all aspects of the life sphere. So when it comes to the family, family is a basic unit of society. In the basic unit of society, the family members need to support women in all areas. So women need to be encouraged. Women need to be given a different aspects. Though women perform well, we are able to see the examples of women who are performing well in the leadership side. So when we see this kind of leadership side, we need to bring up a lot more women leaders in the higher positions. So we need to women has to encourage women to come up in many more positions. Women has to understand the challenges of women. So this kind of issues, when we address, definitely the economic condition of a country would have a rethought or re-looking into it. So the role of women in all areas of the society needs to be encouraged a lot more, and it needs to be concentrated a lot more. So I think with this small introduction and the thoughts that I have discussed, we'll go for the discussion so that we'll have some more points and what are the areas that needs to be discussed.
Yes,
Hope,
ma'am.
ma'am, Hamsaveni, ma'am, you are here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
So
here.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
Thank you
we'll
so
go
much
for the,
for the excellent presentation, ma'am. You have
okay, ma'am.
highlighted about the most important roles played by women in this pandemic, and you also highlighted the role of women in the growth of family all the time, and her
Yes, ma'am.
leadership roles also. Thanks for enlightening us, ma'am. Now
Yes, ma'am.
the session is open for discussion. Students, if you are
Yeah.
the participants, if you are interested to discuss, you
Ma'am,
can
may I
raise
know the
queries.
may I know the participants who are here? Because I'm not
Yes,
very
ma'am.
clear about the
Students,
participants. Yeah,
students
students.
and faculty members. Students from
Okay,
all courses, ma'am, all stream.
okay. So, may I know how many male members and female members are here, ma'am?
Yeah.
Don't know. No idea.
Yes.
No idea. That's fine, ma'am. That's fine.
Okay,
So,
ma'am.
women,
50, ma'am.
50-50.
Maybe
Okay.
30. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they need to talk about these roles more, because I've just given touched upon few points, ma'am. So let them start asking questions.
Participants, you can unmute your mic and you can interact with our resource person. Feel free to talk.
It's always like in the class, ma'am. I myself feel, not good at talking in the webinar. So I'm
Yes.
more comfortable in comfortable in online. I mean the direct interactions.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, audible,
Yes,
sir.
I have a question. That
Yeah.
I have seen that the females are trying to means stand at every place, and they
Okay.
are struggling. And but
Okay.
the condition in which they are means after getting married, in that condition
Okay.
they are unable to do the things. As I have example that I have a student. She is doing research, and she has got married. She now has a baby. I have a
Okay.
baby, and she is struggling a lot. How can she complete her research? So it is very difficult situation to cope up with this and to stand in this condition. So what should they do?
So it's like you are talking about a person who is doing research and she's finding it difficult to complete. Am I right? Hello, Sumati ma'am.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Am I
Hello,
audible?
ma'am. You
Yeah,
are not
yeah.
audible.
Am
Hello.
I audible? Am I audible now?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
You
Yes,
can
ma'am. You
continue
are
because
audible.
okay, you are audible right now.
Yeah. So your question is like a person
Okay,
who's doing a PhD and
okay, ma'am.
she's
You can
having a
continue.
baby. She's having a baby and she's not able to balance the life. That is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the question is like, we have always grown the girl child and boy child differently. So we assume girl child to carry out, or we train a girl child to be more familiar with the household activities rather than putting them into a public sphere, or rather than making them to get familiarized with the public sphere. Public sphere in the sense coming out of the home. Recent days we have changed, but the change is very slow. So what here we need to do is, instead of asking her or the asking of particular women to complete all the tasks, we can take part in the duties that she carries out. As you told, she is carrying out a research and she's also balancing a family. So what family members can do is they can take part equally in the family activities. For example, if she's able to sit and read and do some research activity for 2 hours, then the other 2 hours the people can support her in taking care of the household activities, taking care of the child, taking care of the, I mean, engaging with the child. So it's only merely the support of the family can, help women to come out of this issue, or to come out of this, small challenge that is facing. We would not say it is a problem, because when we live in a family, the growing of a child or the household activity cannot be a problem, probably. So it is a challenge that we have to overcome. Either it be a woman or a man, we have to overcome the challenge that we are facing. So it's a small challenge that is put forward, and that challenge, if at all the people are ready to support, and if the men in the family or the family members are light minded to look into the private sphere as a skill, or the um, activities that is done in the household is as a skill, then definitely we can overcome this problem. This is not at all a problem. Actually, this is a challenge which will exist for maybe 2 or 3 years. Once the child grows up, the challenge would go off, and then naturally she can come up in the career. So research is important in her career, but how many of us really think that women's education is a important part of the society or important part of the family? If we really think that, then we should not give pressure to the women. Instead, we need to support the women. I think I have answered your question.
Okay, ma'am, you answered. But the problem is that we talk a lot, and we in sayings we talk very great things. But when
True. Absolutely true. Um,
yes, but when we talk about means when we are supposed to handle these things, we just at the time don't do those things. That is
that
the
is
problem in the society.
yeah, that is because
We need to promote the means we need to educate. We need to make aware the family members at first.
definitely, that is because, when we talk we are different, and when we come into the action we are different. The differences in the
Okay, ma'am.
action is because that, in the family we grow, as I told you, we grow a female child and a girl child in a different way. So we inculcate the patriarchal attitude definitely to a male member right from the beginning, right from the growth of a child in the family. So the imbibed the patriarchal nature of the child naturally is elevated to the elevated in the later stages too. So that is what, they don't take part in the household activities. So this is a kind of problem till the end of the life, where in old age also men don't learn the skills of the household activities, and they are totally dependent on the unpaid work. But the unpaid work is long hours carried out by women, and of course it should need to be looked as a skill. That is what we are trying to make it, but still it's a challenge. So maybe women studies people or feminist people will definitely one day convert this household activity as a skill. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hello.
Ma'am, is that okay for a girl child and a boy child should to be take care in in a same way?
Sure, why not? So only the biological difference is a male and a female, right? So the gender differences is that a male child and a female child. All the characteristics or the household activities or the cultural constructs that we learn here is a learned character. So as I told you, we do the household activities and we teach the girl child to do the household activities, but we never teach our male child. So when we teach our male child, naturally they'll take part it, but the sole responsibility in our society is still looked upon women. So
Yes, ma'am.
household activities always it is viewed that the women should take care of. When it comes to the earning activity, it should be always done by male. That is how it is looked. But vice versa, we can, look upon boys to carry out the household activity. There is nothing wrong in it. And now, of course, female have started taking part in the earning activities, and they have come out to earn. So that part is not a problem. But when it is an unpaid work, that is the challenge that we are facing.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
definitely, when the household activities, or say for example in hotels, they cook. Men cook, right? Men
Yes,
cook in
ma'am.
star hotels. How do they cook? Why do they cook? Because it is a paid work. But when it comes to the private sphere, when we call it as a family, and when it comes within the four walls of the house, then naturally it is seen as a women's job. So
Okay.
we need to educate our male child to take part in the household activities. There is nothing wrong in it. Definitely, when we teach them right from the childhood days, they would not view it as a different.
Ma'am,
I
why
do it
they
as a
are
practice.
actually why they are portraying in a negative way for I mean teaching the male child in like they can take part in all these things. Why they are taking in a negative way, ma'am?
That is because of the cultural construct. That is a societal structure that we have here,
Yeah.
and the society, the cultural habits that we teach, the tradition. The tradition is also a nominee of patriarchy.
Okay.
So somehow that is an unpaid work, and people are not willing to learn that. And when boy does that, only few of them accept that. So when it
Yes.
comes to the family, and when they do the household activities, few accept them. But we are in the process of change. Definitely now, male children are also taking part in the household activity. So
Yes.
here we need to change small things. We should not tell the boys to say that help your mom. No, it is not a help. It is taking part in the household activity.
Activity. Yes.
Yes, there is differences when we use the words, which again is a cultural construct, and which again is a culturally inherited over generation. So when we inherit such kind of thoughts and ideas over generations and generation, definitely the changes would take place very slowly. So what
Yes.
we have to do is a small change starts from within an individual. So individual should make changes. As I was discussing in my PPT, all are little things that who has to take care, who needs help, who will take care of the sick person. All these things are very very small things. But when it comes to the action, and when we come to the activity, it is a very big thing that we have to do.
Yes.
Yes. So every day we spend a lot of time on that. So you see, if you see these days, you have an advertisement like, what did this lockdown teach you? Or to eat 5 minutes of idli, you work for 2 or 3 hours. Do we really recognize that, or do we really know that? No. The answer is majority of the time we don't know. And as a student also, you need to look into that. As a girl child in a family, sometimes we don't learn that at all.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
when we come to work, and when we really get into the practicalities, then we understand that it requires a lot of time, and it requires a lot of energy. So this empathy, or this thought of a female person has elevated up to the leaderships. That is why female leaders are doing wonderful jobs now. You can see that the empathy to look the issue. So it is the individual. So it is the individual who has to make the change, or who has to bring in the change. So it is our mindset that we have to change, and we cannot expect somebody to change from outside and bring an overall change. It is the individual change that has to come from within, and we have to start.
Yes, ma'am. Well said, ma'am.
Yeah.
Change, we can't expect a change from the society. Society is
No,
nothing but we are the society.
we
So we have to change. Ma'am, actually, we have gone through so many news about the migrant workers,
yes.
those who have settled in their hometown. So, after reading all the news about the migrants and their
Yes,
sufferings,
ma'am.
what is your recommendation, ma'am? Maybe not before this epidemic, that is not possible. Maybe during this epidemic and after this epidemic, especially for the women.
Ma'am, here you need to talk about even before the pandemic or the epidemic, whatever it is, and we need to talk after the epidemic too. Even before the epidemics, as a woman, as a migrant woman, they definitely had that alienation. So if you see, why are these women, migrating from one place to another place? The job security. So they need for they people travel from one place to one place in search of jobs, and they get migrated and they get accommodated in that place. Even then, during those times, the migrant woman definitely faces alienation and different kinds of violence against women. So especially this pandemic condition has given them a big challenge. So the thing is, why did the people migrate? The people migrated only for the job. So now what happened is, they don't have the job, they don't have the economic security. So naturally what happens is, violence against them increases. As I was discussing earlier in my PPT, when the economic condition of a family goes down, naturally the vulnerable person in the family is women and children, because they are dependent on somebody to get money. So when the economic condition goes down, naturally the patriarchal ideology or the patriarchal nature of a man is to show violence against women. I mean, the family definitely faces the violence. One thing is, you would have seen a lot of issues in media, like when men turn up to get money from women and women doesn't have money, it turns into violence, and naturally the violence against women has increased. These kind of news as you would have seen in these recent days. So these migrant women have started going back to their places because they don't have job, and they especially the unpaid labor, the unorganized sector, the women in unorganized sector who were more migrant women, have started moving back to their places. So the only suggestion I can, or the recommendation that I can give for this women is, we need to involve them in a lot of jobs. As I told you, like if you have a domestic worker and if you have stopped her, we need people in a good position, or we people who are well off in this condition can definitely support such kind of women, especially the domestic workers. If you see, they would have worked till say for example till February or March, and once the lockdown started, we would have stopped them, and definitely they would be suffering for their basic needs like food and other things. So in that condition, at least we would not stop their salary for the maybe April and May and June, and we need to pay for them. This is how we can support a woman who is really working. So if you see, these workers would be migrant. When we are not in the condition to pay them, then definitely the women will start moving back to their places, and they'll be facing a lot of violences too. So the only thing is, as an individual, we need to make small changes to support those kind of women, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so
So-
much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. I have one
Good morning.
question. Still, there is discrimination in wages under skilled laborers. While the wages are being fixed up for male labor, they'll have the hike, and for the women labor, they're paid less. Why this discrimination, and how it could be rectified, and how we can take it forward to give a kind of resolution or reformation, whatever it is. And I do acknowledge your deliberations. What you said is the reformation should start from home.
Yes, ma'am.
My father, he brought me like a boy, and he taught cooking to all my younger bros, because he said you should not be dependent on women food for your for filling your stomach. So
Okay.
in that way, everybody should think in a different way. Some student questioning that why it is being happening like this, why it is being happening like this. See, we should be the person to take some constructive
Initiative.
initiation by changing our attitude. By the way, I am not a student. I am Vijay Tilakam, Dr. Vijay Tilakam, Assistant Commissioner, friend of Dr. Sumati, and she has invited me to take part in this webinar. Thanks to
Very
Dr.
nice, ma'am.
Sumati. And I'm working for Government of Tamil Nadu as Assistant Commissioner under the Ministry of Food and Consumer Affairs. Very nice
Okay.
to listening to your lecture. It was very, the thing is, basically, I'm a feminist, and I could
Okay.
really understand everything what you have been sharing with us. hope the girl part, the young women participants of students should get enlightened by your speech as a motivational factor. And
Yes, ma'am.
we women should take forward. The thing is, we should not bite that we should be given with the due rights by the men. So we should
Yes,
know what is our rights and we should grab it and we should take it and we should not give it up. That should be our attitude. So it's
definitely,
wonderful and
definitely.
nice listening to you. The one question only I have asked you, ma'am, regarding this
Yes,
discrimination in wages and the skilled labors. What will
yes.
be the right measure and attitude to resolve this? Of course, they are all district collectors or having the responsibility to invite the people and fixing up the wages. But still, the society is not recognizing the equal wages to men and women. To women at par with men coming under skilled labor right from agriculture side. Your perception in this is solicited for me to enlighten myself. Thank you very much, ma'am. Happy day
Ma'am,
for you.
thank you very much,
Ma'am,
and I'm
ma'am,
happy.
sorry for the interruption. Ma'am,
Tell me.
thank you so much, ma'am. Vijay Tilagam, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your gracious presence, ma'am. In fact, we are really privileged to have you in this session. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
My
Actually, Sumati ma'am, you should include Vijay ma'am for a presentation because she is a
Yes, ma'am.
feminist and she is in a position and she
Yes,
can
ma'am.
discuss a lot of issues that she is facing in practical issues. I mean, as a woman, to survive in a public sector is really, really challenging. And
Yes,
as
ma'am.
she said, she is a feminist and she is grown up like a boy. Definitely, she would have faced a lot of challenges.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
So one.
feminist, and then she has the courage to say that I'm a feminist. That is very important.
That is very important, ma'am.
That is very, very
So,
important. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll address
Okay,
that question. Ma'am, as you have told, the law says that we need to, before law, we are all equal. But again, in the nurturing of a boy child and a girl child, there are a lot of differences. That is where we start thinking that a girl is weaker and a boy is stronger, a boy is masculine and women should be feminine. All these thoughts has got impact on attitude of an individual. So when we talk about the agriculture sector, ma'am, practically speaking, I hail from an agriculture family and I do keep asking my parents, why do you pay differently to men and women? The simple answer they give is like, women are weaker and they cannot perform all the activities that a man do. And I have always put the question, okay, live apart the all women. At least one or two women would be performing equal to the male. Do you give equal salary to those people? People say no, because that one woman is not recognized among the 100 women or 1,000 women. So this is where the difference starts from. So I put the same question to them, asking that, do all women perform the same kind of activity? So naturally the answer is no. No. So all men also do not perform the same activity, or all men are not equally strengthened as individual. So there are differences naturally as a human being, but somehow the male and female differences are, vast, and again that is reinforced again and again by the societal structure, the traditional values, the cultural aspects. There are different variables that play a role. So how do we start this change? Especially, ma'am, Vijay ma'am, like you, person who are in the positions can bring in changes. So if at all the collectors give equal wages in all areas, then they can give a lot of awareness to the unorganized sector people to pay the equal wages. So if you see Western countries like US, those countries do have wage differences, did have wage differences even in the white collar jobs. That is what is shocking to know about. And at least in our country we have equal wages in white collar jobs mostly, and in unorganized sector it, of course, discrimination prevails a lot. So when the decision making is under an individual's condition, discrimination can happen at any point. I mean, it can violate the structure of us, I mean, violate the what is the system. But the same individual can correct the system too. How does it start? The individual has to implement, and the individual has to be an initiator, the individual has to be a challenging person. So when they move forward and give some initiation, definitely this discrimination will go down. But it will take time to change, ma'am. That is what we are striving to. And we as person from women studies or feminist background, we try to inculcate awareness in various levels, in the people in the position making, people in the decision making, people in position, various positions, people from top to bottom. We try to create awareness. Again, when it comes to the implementation part, it is the individual who has to take decision and take ahead. When we are in the position to make decisions, definitely we take all these variables into our account, and then we make decisions, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well said. But this has a knock-on effect on other things also, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Like women's pension, because the gender pension gap is even bigger than the gender pay gap, ma'am. I could say, because money
Yes.
that women don't pay into their pension while they are off working, maybe for maternity or to take care of their children, or while they are earning less to begin with, that will also affect the women even after retirement.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Mm.
Vijaya, ma'am, I think you can you can do a lot of decisions in your position, and you can be the initiator to bring in the changes, ma'am.
Yes, it's my pleasure to listen to you
Yes.
and interact with you. Thanks for your patience in answering my question. I just wanted to elicit the things from your side, your
Yes, ma'am.
perception, to as an added value for my points. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Because I am currently carrying out a project on women's contribution to farm-based economy, ma'am. So when we meet various people and when we ask them, agriculture sector, especially women are more discriminated than men, ma'am. So and now the agriculture sector is more mechanized. So when it is mechanized, women are familiar with the skilled jobs of mechanics, like driving the tractor or driving the plowing fields. All these kinds of mechanized fields are less aware among women, or less learned skill among women, I could say. So as men learn the household activity, they don't look it as a skill. That's how women are also. So when they do a small kind of activities in the agriculture, they are least paid than men. The same work, even if the man does the same work, what happens is man is paid well off and women is paid less. So when we put this question, it is the individual who makes the decision, ma'am. So definitely the discrimination prevails, and there should be some policies, or strict policies to implement and say that there should not be any gender wage discrimination based on gender.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am,
Thank
for
you, ma'am.
clarifying
Hello.
all the queries.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
The presentation was so nice that we can build up the female leadership qualities. Definitely, it is going to empower the future world.
Yes, ma'am.
Really, I enjoyed your presentation. And one more observation that I wanted to tell it here to Vijaya, ma'am. Vijaya, ma'am, are you online, ma'am? Hello.
Yes.
The assistant commissioner like you, that you have interacted, and the students, those who are listening, not only the students but all the participants, those who are really listening, they will set you as the role model, because we are empowered to empower others. That is the real thing that I have to share. One thing that I want to differ from your opinion, don't take it in a negative way. I'll be happy that if you say, your father has brought you up like a boy, you say. I'll be very happy if you say, my father has brought me up to be an independent, to be an individual. Because what we are doing is we are having the scale to measure ourselves with the male counterpart. It is not that we have the bravery, we are bold enough and we can be independent, because we do not know where our children pick up our words. Because if I want to be bold means I need not be a boy. That your father has really brought you up an individual, that you are independent and you are empowered. If you address like that, I'll be happy, I think, ma'am. We are sorry for the difference of opinion.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, 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 ma'am.
Yeah, very happy, Dr. Smati. The thing is, by nature and nurture, how we are brought up. And Dr. Smati Padmanabhan is also being brought up in such a way by her dad and mom, I think. So, as empowered women, we should inculcate the young minds that boldness is the beauty. So women should be bold and briny. That is my principle. What my dad taught to me. So beauty does not lie on the attire what we carry or the cosmetics what we apply. So my dad used to insist always the brilliance and boldness should be together for a girl, and that will be the greatest asset. And
Ma'am,
the thing is, as you rightly said, both are holistic persons. A boy or a girl, both are created in a similar way as a holistic person. So we should be in a position to perceive the things in a right way and perform the
yes.
things in a perfect way, in a
Ma'am,
perfect
here I
manner.
would like to add on a point, ma'am. I think Vijaya ma'am addressed that because, in our society, the courage and all kinds of the bold activities that you do is associated with boy. That is why I think
That,
he
that
used
is
that
what,
word. Yes,
yeah,
that is
that's
the one
what
perspective.
that's what we
Yeah.
say. There is the cultural constraint because we make it as a culture that gold is always associated with a boy. Let us
That we need to
reconstruct.
stop it.
Let us
Yes,
reconstruct. That's
that
what.
we need
Yeah.
to reconstruct. So,
Yeah.
like these kind of small words need to be concentrated when we use in the society, ma'am. So, these words, when we start using it, then we start respecting an individual for their talents and for the activities that you do. For this matter, I would give an example, ma'am. In our culture, in our Indian culture, especially these recent days, if you see a small girl child growing in a family, look into the marriages, ma'am. How much do they make up to a female girl child? How much time do they spend to make up a female child? For what does we do that? For what are we doing that? I have a question, ma'am. This is my own perception. I have read nothing anywhere. This is my own perception. What I'm trying to tell is, when you make up a girl in such a manner that like a bride and make her stand, you are just trying to give her an idea, or you are just trying to give a notion that the girl is associated with the beauty. Naturally, the female child, as receives that idea and ideology, and it enters into her mind, and she assumes herself as a beauty object. Naturally, this elevates to greater levels also. When she is grown up as a human being, she associates herself as a beautiful object. So naturally, she tends to behave in that way, behave in a feminine way. So even small things play a major role. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So
Ma'am,
yes, ma'am.
actually nowadays for girls, weight and their appearance is being they are seeing very much for a girl child. Um,
Why is it so? That's a big question.
yeah, that they make the girl child to feel very feminine, so that they cannot come out with their ideas or something else. So they are putting them down by their outer appearance, so that with that they can project the girl child, girls to come under the men. According to me, I feel like that, man.
Sure. The girl child should be looked upon as an intellectual caliber person instead of looking out as a beautiful object. So, objectifying women starts from the childhood. So, we objectify. We are one among them who are objectifying the girl child. So, it is the individual person, or it is me and you, who has to take responsibility to not objectify a woman. So, it is we who has to start the change, and let us not look upon women as an object. And object in the sense, we assume that within our mindset, when we always talk about the beauty aspects and the saris. And if you see, that is what people make fun of. When women join together, they don't talk intellectually. Instead, they talk about the saris and the makeups they do. That is what happens in the
It has
society.
become like a taboo, ma'am.
It's a taboo. It's a taboo.
Yeah.
But who has to break that? We have to break that. So I consciously do that. Whenever I get into women's gathering, I'll never speak about sarees or beauty of a woman. Nothing like that. Maybe once I can appreciate that. That is not a matter. When you look at a person and you say, okay, you are looking beautiful or handsome, something like that, you can tell. But not always. Not everything that when you're throughout conversation or throughout a half an hour of conversation need not be about the saree and the kitchen and the cooking and the items that we do at home. So that is what, that is where you can start the change from. That is where you can tell women, and we need to have time to read. We need to look into the political issues. We can talk about the intellectual issues. We have a lot more issues to look into and take part in the country's development or take part in the.
Yes, ma'am.
So that young minds and young generation need to be consciously doing that. That is much, much important so that women enter more into the workforce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shall we conclude, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, we can conclude.
Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying the queries, ma'am. And now I would like to express my words of gratitude to our beloved President, Dr. M. Archami, sir, and our motivational women, Madam Dr. C. A. Vasagi, for permitting us to conduct such programs. I render my special thanks to our beloved Principal for his support. I dedicate my special thanks to our today's resource person, Dr. Kamalaveni ma'am, for joining with us and sharing her views. Thank you so much, ma'am. I offer my special thanks to Dr. R. Sumati, convener, Women Empowerment Cell, for organizing such programs for benefit of the society. Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the members of Women Empowerment Cell and my dear participants for your active participation. Thank you. And a gentle reminder to all the participants, join us at 11 a.m. tomorrow with the same Google Meet link for the third day session. Thank you all. With this, I conclude today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.